clicked live by accident, so we're now live because I'm an idiot. Right. Hello and welcome to the Free Radio Callahan podcast, episode 4. Yes, we've finally come back with it. Today we are not really going to be talking about Foxhole much, due to the fact that the FLC as a whole is having a break war at the moment. At least the commanders are, such as myself and Chop. So we're not going to be talking about Foxhole much today, because we haven't been playing it. I'm joined today by Blueberry. He's changed his name to Chillberry, but it's fucking Blueberry.
Everywhere else.
Yeah.
You guys still don't understand. It's just for this. I've been told to chill, yeah? I'm silently protesting the fact that I've been told to chill. You guys haven't gotten it yet.
And then we're also joined by the wonderful Fish. Hello there, Fish.
Hello.
It's a rare occasion when a fish appears.
Yeah, it is recently.
Yeah. Just savor it.
And we will most likely at some point, when he reads his fucking Discord, be joined by Drasmodia. So the subjects that we mostly wanted to talk about today is Warhammer 40k. I love it.
I'll give up beer. I'll be back.
I love that. Starts immediately fucks off to get a beer. Yeah. Bye, Fish. So yeah, 40k. Yep, Draz has just let me know that it'll be here in 1 sec. And there we go, he's here.
Yeah, sorting some stuff out.
Yeah, I accidentally misclicked and I've already started the stream because I'm an idiot.
Well, aren't you smart?
Yeah, I know. So I think the best way.
I'm not bad. How are you guys?
Yeah, I'm good.
Sorry, Rise, for interrupting you.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. You're absolutely fucking correct.
So Blueberry is currently a sergeant. No one's ping-ponged the ranks more than he has. We're in the FLC. Drasmodia is one of our company lieutenants. And he's actually in command of our mechanised infantry. And Fish is the second in command for our tank company.
Fish is just Fish.
Yes. And Fish has gone to get a beer and he's probably going to be getting wasted most of this podcast. But he knows nothing about 40k, so this could be quite interesting.
We're going to explain the ins and outs of 40,000 drunk.
Yeah, to a drunk Polish man. Yeah. I can't see what could possibly go wrong here. So I think the best way to start, if we're going to talk about 40k, is for each of us that do play it to give the main army that we play and why we play it, or collect or whatever. So I tell you what, I'll start with my favourite, Blue. What army do you play and why do you play it?
God. That's all I need to say, right?
No, because I know for a fact you don't play World Eaters, so and don't make that joke when it comes to our
to
beloved.
To be honest, right now I'm not actually playing anything.
Fair enough.
I haven't played it in like 5 good years. But I played both Eldar. I played Ultramarines at some point. And of course, I've also played. I don't remember their name anymore, and you're gonna fucking hate me for it.
Dark Angels.
Yep, Dark Angels.
There we go.
Thank you. That is essentially my main corp, or my main army. So yeah, that's what I do.
Okay. Why did you pick those? You just pick them because they look pretty.
Well, first off, the Eldar I picked because fucking elves in space. Fuck, let's go, right? And then the Ultramarines because I got told by a friend that this is the army to play. This is what you're gonna play if you want to have fun.
Okay.
I did have fun.
Fucking Ultramarines.
But then I chose the Dark Angels because I'm an edgy bastard.
Yep. The Dark Angels, they're pizza cutters of 40k. All edge, no point.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Every single spiky thing they have.
Okay, Draz, what is your main army? And
My
why
main
do you...
army currently
Yep.
are the Imperial Knights.
Ugh.
I play the Imperial Knights, and I picked them up essentially because one, who doesn't fucking love big stompy mechs?
True.
Who doesn't love some good old big stompy mechs? And two, mostly because I enjoy thematic kind of. I build my armies to be very thematic, very. I build them with purpose. Yeah, lore friendly, and also I like making my own like homebrew kind of shit.
Yeah.
I'm very homebrew. I have a homebrew chapter. I have homebrew star system, and I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna make some homebrew knights now. And
Okay.
honest to God, I just kind of fell in love with them because the lore is amazing. The models, I loved it.
Okay, awesome. I completely get why. I mean, I want to own an Imperial Knight one day. Just one because of what my main army is, and I'll get to that in a second. But I love the Imperial Knight model, and I only want the basic one with like the chain swords and the battle cannon. That's all I want because I love that model, and I think it'd be a huge amount of fun to paint and just try something different with. But I haven't done homebrew for years now, though. So, my army... Well, I have two main armies that I play. I've got my Sons of the Phoenix, who are Imperial Fist successors. And I have my Lamenters, who are Blood Angel successors. Because I'm an idiot and thought that hand painting checkerboard onto shoulder pads was a great idea to spend my time.
Yeah, it's the best idea.
I mean, I joke. It's turned out really well, and I'm really, really proud of how they all look.
Yeah, I was about to say, you sound so sarcastic, really.
No, it's one of those that now that's the easiest part of painting them. Like the hard part's getting the yellow right, because so far every squad the yellow looks slightly different, and it's doing my nutting. But I'm really pleased with how they've come out, and it's definitely my favourite army I've ever done. Purely because it's brilliant when you go to like events and everything to play with your army.
Like,
and
what the fuck are these?
No, that's not what they've said. 9 times out of 10, I had 5 people ask me the last time I went to my local game shop to play, asked me if they were Imperial Fists.
Why?
I have no fucking idea. They see yellow and think that they're Imperial Fists for some fucking reason. Like, that's the only yellow Space Marine that exists.
What's your rational response to that?
it's kind of just like I look at them and I don't know how to respond to that because I look at these and I'm
just
like
every single Space Marine that's yellow, it just put the book in front of me like every Space Marine.
It's like I honestly don't know how to respond because the event I went to with my Lamenters, I didn't just field my Lamenters. I've also got a very small Blood Angels force, and purely to bulk up what I have built because I don't like fielding it if it's not built and painted. I took like the Blood Angels I've got, which was just a tactical squad and a Baal Predator, with me as well to give me some armoured and some extra troops. And they're asking me if they're Imperial Fists whilst they're next to Blood Angels, which confused me even more. Because I'm like, yeah, I could have taken 2 armies, but do you see a Blood Angels HQ here? No. I just, no idea. But apparently, if it's yellow, it's an Imperial Fist for some people. Like, they can't comprehend that there's more than one yellow Space Marine chapter.
Imagine having more than one Space Marine that's yellow.
Plus, it's the checkerboard.
Looking at the French flag and then looking at the flag of Luxembourg.
Yeah, no.
or the flag of the
difference,
Netherlands.
Yeah, exactly.
It was very, very frustrating for me because I was just like, what the fuck? Like, it's like, but have you seen Imperial Fists with checkerboards painted on them then? Because I'd love to see them. Like, black and white checkerboard on the left shoulder pad should be the giveaway here, people. But yeah, that's a very common thing to hear from them. But I love how they've turned out anyway, because I love painting just as much as I love playing. So, but maybe we should start with. Well, let's start with like the biggest news that's hit 40k in recent memory, because I know Draz wants to talk about it because he's happy.
I'm happy because it's finally the squats are back. I'm
Yep.
very happy we have
Squats.
again.
I'm not convinced it'll be a full army.
I don't know at this point. I'm very.
I don't think it'll
I'm
be a
looking
full
forward
army.
to it, but we'll see, I guess.
I think it'll be kill team.
What do you base that on?
Because we've only got
Player
one.
release.
We've only got one picture of a model, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think like every time they release an army, it's like, here, have like every model.
Plus,
Yeah, but
they have released, like for example, the plastic Death Core of Krieg that were released. They were only released purely for kill team. Like, yeah, theoretically speaking, you could do a full 40k army with them, but they were just released originally for kill team.
I mean, theoretically speaking, they have said they want to get Krieg. They want to get full plastic Krieg, but that takes time.
Plus, how about updating the fucking Catachan range, Games Workshop?
The entire Imperial Guard range.
Oh,
Updated.
like the Cadians still look good, but they're the only thing in the card range that looks good.
No, the Cadian's the only thing that's been updated.
Yeah,
The only thing that's been updated, the Cadians.
I want other shit added to my fucking guard. But yeah,
I don't want to have to keep. I don't want to keep having to use like Cadians and because yeah, it's nice, but my custom guard. I think they're mostly Age of Sigmar parts at this point because it's like finding anything that's guard related is like what? You want Cadian or you want to pay like 100 quid for an old piece of?
and if you want to play at a Games Workshop or something like that, it all has to be made of GW pieces.
explain what they are, because I don't think Fish understands.
What
Stone
the?
Water.
The new race or the old
Okay,
race.
So essentially, squats are space dwarves
yeah,
And why is it a big deal?
because they were released once, like in the original
in
game,
Rogue Trader, yeah.
and they've just been like a fan favorite for so long.
I wouldn't say they've been a fan favourite. They were apparently this was the reason that they gave for getting rid of them in the first place. They weren't popular, and they were a bit of a meme before memes were even a thing. They were a
Squats
joke
have been
race.
the meme race, and it's like,
Yeah.
by the way, here have them as an actual race and with cool models as well.
I mean, if they did bring squats back, if they did bring squats back as a proper army, they would not. They're not going to call them squats. They won't be called squats.
Yeah, I don't think they'll sell in enormous numbers as well. I think they might. They look like they're going to be some kind of like. rogue
They'd sell
trader.
to begin with because of the brand new thing, but then they'd go much the same way of Dark Elder, where you're lucky if you find a player in the same county as you. For example, in the UK, I know like 2 Dark Elder players.
Well, that's a lot more than I know.
Yeah, exactly. And even then, they're not their main armies. They're purely backup armies.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
one
I love guard. I have a guard arm.
Yeah.
But I just don't use it.
One Dark Elder player I know, his main army is actually Tau. He's just got the Dark Elder as something different to paint because he likes painting them. The other Dark Elder player I know actually plays Iron Warriors and Eldar mostly, and only uses the Dark Elder to beef up his. He only uses his Dark Elder to beef up his Eldar force. So. Oh yeah, and he also plays Minotaurs because fuck him, that's why. For those of you who don't know, the Minotaurs fucked over the Lamenters, my chapter, in the lore. So Minotaurs players, go fuck yourself.
It's like it's their fault or something.
It is,
No,
it is.
It's just that the Minotaurs and the Lamenters have a history in the lore, and Rice just takes it too far.
No, honest to God, I was talking
I
about.
honestly think he doesn't take it far enough.
I was talking about Space Marine chapters to my girlfriend the other week, and it got to showing us some stuff in the Space Marine Codex, and got to the Minotaurs, and I went on for a 30-minute rant about how much I fucking hate them. And she's just like sat there, just nodding, just like, yeah, babe, yeah, they sound horrible, yeah. I'm just like, they're such cunts. They took my stuff.
Food soon?
And she's just like, yeah, babe, sure. Like, Why is he getting mad over a fictional army in a fictional universe taking fictional things from his fictional army in a fictional universe? And I'm just like, it makes me so angry. This stuff's important. What about what's happening elsewhere? I don't give a shit what's happening in Eastern Europe. This shit needs to be justified. Someone needs to pay. That, of course, ladies and gentlemen, is what we in Britain call a joke.
It's
Jokes in
2022.
my law. What the fuck?
It's just a joke, bro. I'm just annexing your entire country. It's just a joke.
It's 2022. You cannot make jokes anymore. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for that input there, Steve.
Society.
Yeah, joke-free society. But, I mean, the lore is what got me into the game, personally. I don't know about you guys, but the lore for 40k is easily one of the best things about it. What about you guys? What attracted you to buying your first models?
The lore. 100%.
Yeah. What about you,
The
Draz?
lore.
Sorry, go on, Blue.
Yeah, no, it was the lore and the fact that, you know, you had to paint your own figures, and, you know, it was a lot to delve into, and I had a pretty rough childhood. I'm not going to say no one else did, but I had a pretty rough childhood.
It was a form of escapism, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like
a little bit.
this incredibly, I mean, as much as 40k takes itself incredibly serious in its novels and its audio dramas and its fucking shows, it's also very, very silly at the same time. Which is half, it's got a charm to it.
And a bit scary as well.
Yeah,
Like service
Yeah,
boys and
it's a very, very good universe. It's well developed, and I just love it.
yeah. And comparing like older lore to newer stuff, I find fascinating to like look into, like the changes that have been made over the decades. Like if you was to read Rogue Trader, for example, Horus and the Primarch. Well, Horus is mentioned, but he's not a Primarch. He's just a general that turned against the Emperor. The only other Primarch that's mentioned is Lehman Russ, who was the first chapter master of the Space Wolves. Stuff like that. I find that fascinating to see. How it's evolved as people have changed it over time and like refined 40k to what it is now. And I think that's always been a big selling point. I remember the first time I saw Games Workshop, or not Games Workshop, but 40k models. It was in it was a computer repair shop, but they also sold games, and one of the owners played 40k, so he sold 40k in this computer repair shop. As you do. And I must have been about 8. Yeah, about 8 or 7. And it was the first time I saw 40k models. And I remember seeing them. And I'm pretty sure it must have been 3rd edition. So it was the 3rd edition starter set with the Black Templars and the Dark Elder. If I'm remembering correctly, that is. But I could be wrong. And some of the old blister packs of the metal miniatures on the wall and stuff like that. Like if either of you two remember that far back what 40k was like back then. Well, actually saying that, Draz, you wouldn't have even been born at that point.
No.
No. So, but
I didn't play back then. I don't
no.
know.
But that was my first exposure. I even remember my very first White Dwarf. I remember my first White Dwarf, I was 10? Yeah, 10, 11. And I remember plastic Cadians were just released. Like the current Cadian line that people are like, it's outdated. It had just been released in this White Dwarf. And they did an army box set for 120 quid, which came with 3 Lehman Russes.
Huh.
And about 50 infantry. And command squad and everything, and like sentinels. It was full on army, like Like easy, like nowadays, like you're looking at 1,000 to 1,500 points for 120 quid. Which I don't know how that translates for you, Blue, but nowadays 120 quid will get you 2 Land Raiders. To put some concept to it for you.
Well, I would say it's about 120 quid is roughly 1,500 Norwegian crowns.
Yeah.
Which is it's hard to put it into like weight.
Yeah.
For you, but 1,500 crowns is gonna be able to buy you food for the week.
Okay. Well, that's how much it cost anyway.
Yeah, it's an expensive hobby to have.
Yeah, but in comparison to the prices now, a full army for that amount now, like, ain't happening.
You also have to remember that they allow you to make your own figures, like in a 3D printer. Like you're allowed to do that and field them and everything. It's fine.
Not in. I can't speak for Norway, but in Games Workshop stores and in Warhammer World itself in Nottingham, you can't field non-Games Workshop models.
Yeah, you can in Norway because
I'm guessing it's a lot more lax there because it's not. I mean, 40k.
It's not as a big of a scene.
Yeah. Plus, this is going to sound really big-headed, but Games Workshop is obviously based in UK, so they're going to be more stringent with their rules here.
That can go on to why GW shit is so expensive. Why is Games Workshop stuff so expensive? Maybe because they don't make it all in China.
Yeah, true. It is all made in the UK.
The only thing that Games Workshop produces in China, to my knowledge, are the books.
Yeah, none of the models are produced in
plastic
China.
kit, any resin kit, any metal work, it's all made in Nottingham.
Yep. Actually, at some point,
it's really expensive. It's like, well, you're paying for good fucking quality.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And let's face facts, the quality of the models for Games Workshop are good. In fact, they're a lot better than a lot of other companies which produce models.
War Machine is a good.
Yeah.
Is it War Machine? Yeah, War Machine. They produce their shit in China, and I think their quality is piss poor, but still.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies which do, and their quality
Wizards of the
shows.
Coast models.
Oh God, don't get me started on
For
Wizards of
D&D,
the Coast
I
models.
think are piss poor. I'm sorry, I stopped using Wizards of the Coast models for D&D and just started using old Age of Sigmar stuff. I used to kit bash.
Yeah, or in my case, I've got some Warhammer Fantasy models from back when I played that. But tell you what, Blue, if you ever come to the UK for like a holiday or anything like that, let me know because I want to go to Warhammer World and I'll drag you up there.
UK for holiday.
Because
hell yeah,
I'll take you to Bugman's Bar and we'll have a brew up there.
Bugman's Bar is fucking amazing.
Because Warhammer World has a Forge World store in it. As well as a Games Workshop
you want to buy
store.
a fucking Titan? You
Yeah, you can walk right in and buy a Titan or a Thunderhawk.
How much is it?
Same price that it is if you order it, but you don't have to pay the delivery fee. Well, you don't have to.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, that's fair enough. I
Yeah.
mean,
There's also
that
you
might...
get to see heavy metal. There's events on. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Honest to God, you'd love it. Huge gaming room.
mean, that alone is a reason to go to Britain, honestly.
And they have a Rhino tank sat outside it.
Ooh,
That works.
That's hot.
Admittedly, it is an ultramarine one, but it's still a fucking Rhino.
That's fine by me.
It is just a repurposed old military vehicle. They said, I want to make this into a 40k tank now. Yes.
Yeah. But
it's fucking cool.
one thing I did want to bring up, because I know you're a fan of some of it, Draz. I don't know about you, Blue.
Go on.
Is the AUs or the alternate universes that fans have made for 40k.
Alternate universes in 40k are comparable to the good old like multiverses of Marvel and shit. They are varied and they are beautiful. Are all of them good? No. Are some of them absolutely fucking crap? Yes. But there's a select few that I absolutely adore.
I mean, honestly, I don't have much else to say on that because you summarized it quite beautifully there, Draz.
I mean, I don't know because I've never really spoken to you much about the AUs for 40k Blue. I have with Draz, but probably two of my favourites are obviously the Dornian Heresy and the Rebutian Heresy by Zahariel. The Dornian Heresy is fantastic with one big issue. Nothing's really changed about the beginnings of the Primarchs, and the Ultramarines still don't fall to chaos. Otherwise, it's really, really good. The Rebutian Heresy, however, is a complete 180 of what happens to the...
flips everything in its head. All the loyalists are now traitors, all the traitors are now loyalists.
Like with the Dornian, but literally even their beginnings are flipped on their head. Like Conrad Kurz, for example, for the Night Lords, he didn't actually grow up on his own in the Rebutian Heresy. He had a woman who acted like a mother to him that he would go to, that helped him deal with a lot of like the emotions and everything that went through his head, so he never lost his humanity.
I mean the Dornian Heresy, I love like they picked out special Chaos Gods. There's a couple of the more niche ones, for example, like they said, what would happen if Magnus was stopped from blowing up the Webway Gate?
Yeah.
Or if Constantine Valdor killed Horus, like he almost did last time.
Another one that I've seen, which was also done by Zahariel, which is Prince of the Eye, which is what would have happened if Horus didn't kill Sanguinius and survived, pretty much.
What happens if Sanguinius survived?
Yeah.
There's another one, which is what if the Chaos Gods actually got the person they wanted for first time, which is just terrifying. Which is what happens if the Chaos Gods got the lion like they wanted to, and it's like, oh my god, this is fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Well, in the Rebutian Heresy, the Dark Angels falling into the Thousand Sons and being the ones responsible for it, I really liked, because it meant that Luther was a loyalist in that, and you still had everything that happened there. It was really well. The Rebutian Heresy was really well written, and entirely believable if you knew your 40k lore. That's what made it great.
There is literally the Lion's Heresy, and it's brilliant. Yeah. It's like, the Emperor gets fucking slapped by Johnson.
One alternate universe which I followed a fair amount, that some of you may have heard of, some of you may have not, is the Antares Apostasy.
That's another one.
Now, the Antares Apostasy, or the Legions Reborn, is essentially, it was a group of people that has come up with their own custom legions.
They just completely rewrote the legions.
Yeah,
yes.
And they completely rewrote their own lore surrounding the idea of these legions being one of the 18, more or less. Fascinating, like backgrounds, like so radically different. One beautiful thing that I really liked with it is the 9th Legion and the 17th Legion are the Lost Legions in the Antares Apostasy. But they didn't come up with custom legions for it. They made the 9th and the 17th Legions what they were in the main timeline, which is the Blood Angels and the Word Bearers. They were the ones that were lost. So the Blood Angels fell to the Red First completely, even with Sanguinius. And the Word Bearers, well, they're the Word Bearers, what you expect to happen.
They went crazy.
they went... the reason I mention it, and this is a little bit of self-promotion here, but I'm not ashamed. At one point, they were looking for additions from the fan base for various things in regards to the Imperial Army, and one of my things was chosen for it, and it's actually on their wiki. An idea I formed up for an Imperial Army regiment is on their wiki and is part of their canon, which I was always... Yeah, why can you hear Chop?
Can you hear Chop?
Yeah.
I can hear Chop through your mic, Ruben.
Oh, yes.
What? Wait, really? You can?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
So yeah, I managed to get something of mine. I wouldn't say published, but you get what I mean. And I've always been quite proud of that. On there.
This is what happens when you make too many promises at once.
Yeah, I know, right? That's your biggest issue, mate. Yeah, I'll play with you. Yeah, I'll be on your podcast.
No.
Yeah, I'll do this.
Yep. I can't stop. Someone. No.
So, I mean, one thing I definitely still want to do is gather a bunch of the group together, a bunch of the FLC together, those of us that do play 40k, and go, right, I want to run a Deathwatch game or Black Crusade, either or, and have everyone play as their favourite chapters.
That could be really fun.
I know that you've shown interest in it before, Blueberry, and then just like stream what happens, like we are right now, and just run with it. You know, set up a very basic premise. We're hunting Xenos scum. What more do you need to know? and travel all over.
Bolters go brrr.
Yeah.
Actually, they don't, but you know.
Well, it does if you watch the Astartes short. They very much go brr.
Well, I mean, it's come on. It's no one can ever decide on what the bolter is.
Actually,
and I think that now
it's a harpoon gun, isn't it?
No. Now that
essentially a javelin.
Astartes is now law, like Astartes is now part of the law.
Yes. No, right. This is going to sound stupid, but I know way too much about Space Marines as it is.
Bolter is a heated. It's essentially a heated javelin.
No,
isn't it?
No, a bolter fires a mass reactive bolt.
I always thought it was like the. Then again, I never delved into it.
No. So essentially, what happens is when a bolt is fired from a bolt gun, and it enters a body, so it's a two charge. It's a two charge fire weapon. So it will fire out conventional, which is where the shells come on, but it's got a secondary charge which propels it even further forward, like an RPG. Right? So it'll punch into someone, detect that it's inside a mass, and then detonate. That's what a bolt gun does. Pretty much.
Yeah, I can understand the naming of the weapon then.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. So it's got a two-stage firing mechanism. And like when it says mass reactive, people always are, it's atomic or something. No, mass reactive literally means that it reacts to being inside a mass, which is why whenever it's described hitting a tank or something, it ricochets or just like bounces off, or just breaks apart.
Here. I know and I can recognize the fact that there is a your mom joke here, what you just said. But I'm not going to say it.
You already referenced it.
Yeah, that was a joke.
But yeah, it's that's what a bolt gun does, more or less. Which is why them going bruh always seem.
Is just a laser pistol, right?
Yeah, more or less. Although the way it's described, at least in the Gaunt's Ghost novels, is very much in keeping with the descriptions that I've read and seen of what an AK-47 can do to a body, or an AK-74.
A las gun.
A las gun's a lot more powerful.
It shoots a physical projectile.
No, it's what it does to the body. Is brutal. Like what a las gun can do to the body, to an unprotected body, to a body in like carapace armor or crack armor, whatever you want to call it. It literally punches holes through the body and can rip a body apart relatively easily. But in the world, in the universe of the 41st millennium, it means very little in comparison to weapons that can blow people in half with one shot.
That's true.
I mean, the fact that the bolt gun, a weapon that does that to someone, is only strength 4. That's the thing. A bolt gun is strength 4. Okay? And it literally, whenever you've seen it, if you ever read a novel and describe what it does to someone, like one shot just hitting your shoulder, it will detonate your arm right off. And if you don't die from the shock, you'll die from the blood loss. So it's very much like that's only strength 4. How bad are these other weapons? But then there's also a description of what happens when a las cannon hits an ultramarine in one of the Night Lord's books, and it's not pretty.
Well, nothing is pretty in the Warhammer universe. Let's be real.
It's just a hole in the middle of the ultramarine, and the wall he was hiding behind.
And the guy that was hiding behind that wall. And his friend. Fuck his friend.
That's the thing, and this is a handheld las cannon that Space Marines using, and they're not even the most powerful ones you can get. So, but on the subject of the nuts weapons in 40k, let's bring up the ships. Because that's my favourite thing about 40k, it's the fucking ships. Hands down, the insane scale of them. Like, I think, didn't we? Was it you that me and you worked? You double checked the length of a Star Destroyer is slightly less than a frigate in 40k, isn't it? One of the smallest ships in 40k is slightly longer than a Star Destroyer, isn't it? Was it you that I did that with, Blue?
Nope, that wasn't me.
No, I think
Sorry,
that...
I thought you were talking to Rise because I had actually no idea what you were talking about.
Oh, right.
I haven't really compared ship sizes, but what I usually compare them to is EVE Online ships because they're generally much larger than what you would think.
Yeah. Well, no, it might have been Draz then.
Yep, probably.
I might have made the comment that the frigates were bigger than a Star Destroyer in Star Wars, and then they checked, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it was you when I did my Battlefleet Gothic stream, Blue.
You sure?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you was there when I did my Battlefleet Gothic stream, wasn't you? And I brought it up then.
I was there during that. I remember that.
Yeah, I swear we brought it up then about like it's like the Star Destroyer is wider, but the swords.
All the Imperial
that was it. A
ships
sword
are
class
really-
frigate. That was it. It was a sword class frigate you compared it to. Is longer than a Star Destroyer, and that's like one of the smallest ships available to the Imperium. And then you got the others like you know, the dwarf that is so unbelievably huge that they're more like hive worlds in space with guns the size of skyscrapers attached to them. And you know, I'd love reading the space battles in 40k because I always find them the most interesting to read, and I love it when they included them in.
They're always really well written.
Yeah, they're easily the space battles in 40k are some of the best space battles I've ever seen written, at the very least, because
Agreed.
Despite the let's face it, absolute absurdity and nutty design you get for the ships, the battles themselves actually make a lot of sense.
They do. Yeah,
Like-
yeah, 100%.
Like the entire time.
They're written from like the best perspective as well.
Yeah.
Which is really nice.
And I can't remember what one it was. I think it was Prince of Crows, which is a Horus Heresy short story about the Night Lords. And the description in there is literally most naval engagements are a battle of mathematics. Of commanders working out, you know, mathematically how to hit targets like incomprehensible distances away with their guns, and it's very rare for them to get close. And about how, because this engagement they 50 ships punch right through the Dark Angels to go out the other side, and them getting that as close as they are is incredibly rare because that's not how the tactics they use work. And I think that is the best description. Like, yes, this is a very cinematic view, like battle that's going on. Like, I'd love to see that battle animated at some point because I think that would be amazing. But
Yeah,
it is not how space
Can
battles
you
in
imagine
40k.
a proper AAA treatment making of like, say, Blizzard used all of that fucking tech that they did to make the Warcraft movie to make an actual Warhammer movie, a proper one.
Do you know what I would want?
Amazing.
I would want a series for the Horus Heresy,
Yes.
right? For the Horus Heresy in particular.
Well, and the
So
time
this-
before, the
I'd-
Emperor.
No, I'd want them to cover the Great Crusade and then the Heresy itself, but on the same scale that we got for Game of Thrones,
Ooh, yes.
right? And you know what's even better about it? Henry Cavill. You might know him from The Witcher
Yep.
and
Good
Superman.
guy. He's a gamer. He's
Yeah,
a gamer
he's not just a
friend,
gamer, he's also a Adeptus Custodes player.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and a huge 40k fan. Like, massive 40k fan.
You will recognize real, right? That's what
Yeah,
they say.
he wants to do a live action series for 40k.
Oh, that'd be amazing. I
And
don't think
bearing in mind
I
the
don't think
Force.
Games Workshop would go for it though.
Oh no!
They
Can you?
might.
Well, the biggest names in Hollywood is not just a 40k fan, but he's very proud of that fact and tells everyone about it. In fact, there's an interview of him on on Graham Norton, who you won't know, but essentially he's a gay guy that
I
has.
know Graham Norton.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know what you know. It's Graham Norton. I don't expect people from outside the UK to know my
he's
fucking
amazing. What are you talking about?
famous people. Well, he has Henry Cavill on, and he actually makes a joke of him playing 40k and painting little miniatures and everything like that. And Henry takes it in his stride, but and it's just and kind of like just dismisses like him like mocking the hobby. But people were genuinely pissed off with that.
Oh, really?
But yeah, the BBC got loads of complaints about it because they was just like, why is it okay for Graham Norton to mock our hobby? But it's not okay to
He's
mock
a
the
fucking
fact that he's
comedian.
yeah, I know,
Grow
but
up.
it's not. It's people don't view Graham Norton as a comedian, and the reason they don't view him as a comedian is because he's not funny.
Well,
Okay,
Oh.
flat
Oh,
out,
word.
Graham Norton is not
Oh.
funny. I don't care. Come at me. He's not funny. He's not a
word.
comedian. If Ricky Gervais took the piss out of 40k, I'd be okay with it because it's Ricky Gervais, and for him, anything is fair game. I don't mind him. All right, he's actually a comedian. All Graham Norton is just a fucking talk show host that has made a career out of making jokes that he shouldn't be making to people that he shouldn't do that aren't funny when he makes them.
That's fair enough. I mean, I can respect that. Honestly, that's at least a better take on it than a
Yeah.
lot of people have. Like,
It's-
oh, I just don't like the way you look.
It's
Like, that's
it's
not
got
valid.
nothing. It's got nothing to do with how he looks. It's got nothing to do with how he acts. I don't think he's funny. I think he is.
Objectively not funny.
Yeah, I think
makes sense.
he's eccentric enough and random enough, and they needed a replacement for Jonathan Ross. That's it. That's the only reason he has that show, and I don't
The only
reason
reason I
find it
understand
funny.
we're not supposed to talk about Graham Norton now, but the only reason I like him. Sorry. The only reason I like.
No, I
welcome back.
finished it.
Yeah, you come back to us talking about Graham Norton, so you're probably like, what the fuck
heard.
are they talking about?
I kind of heard.
Yeah. I just want to finish what I was saying.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just wanted to say that, the only reason I like him is that he always takes care of the people he interviews. Like, no matter who they are, what they do, it doesn't matter. They're all taken care of in like a reasonably respectful manner. And obviously, if you go to a comedy show, which it is a comedy show.
I mean, you can define it as a comedy
You
show.
have to
You have
accept
the right
fact
to
that
be
you're gonna
wrong.
get bullied. You have to accept the fact that you're gonna get bullied.
No, because the reason
You
I
wanna know who
refuse.
said that? Ricky
Yeah.
Gervais.
I love that man.
Same.
That man,
He's
that
such
man
a-
single-handedly tore apart Hollywood in like
He-
a few
he's-
hours.
He's my spirit animal, man.
Yeah, no, he literally fucking is. You're the living embodiment of him.
My that's the best thing I've heard all day.
But no, I refuse to recognise that show as a comedy show because, as far as I'm concerned, it's not funny.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But the prerequisite of having a comedy show isn't to be funny, though.
I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure that is a prerequisite for a comedy
Not
show.
really. It's supposed to give you reactions, though, right? They're supposed to do like weird shit, like like talk about the Ukrainian war in a way that makes you go, "Wait, what?" You know? So you think about it.
Okay, to make one thing clear, and we are going to change the subject from arguing about comedy, I swear to God. But I don't have an issue with people mocking things that I like. Case in point, I'm Welsh. Okay? You can shut up. And
pronounce the longest city name.
yeah, it does have the longest place name. And a very common joke in the UK is that Welsh people are all sheepshaggers.
And I know the history behind that joke because I looked it up.
Yeah.
I thought that was Scots.
Yeah, I know.
No, Scots are just Scots.
No, honest to God, everyone else in the world, the joke is made about the Scottish. For some fucking reason, I don't know why, but in the UK only, it's not the Scottish that are the sheepshaggers, it's the Welsh, and I don't know why.
Oh,
I mean, there is actually a reason if you look up the history.
huh? What is the reason?
Yeah, go on.
Because in history, if you stole sheep, it was a serious crime, punishable by, I think it was like either student out of time in prison or death. It was like a very bad crime.
Oh yeah, no, because they depended on these livestock to live, so that makes sense. Yeah.
Actually, a lesser crime to say I was stealing them was to shag them.
Ooh. Well, that's kind of gross.
But
then again,
to get
Norway
to my
didn't actually abolish or it's allowed to have sex with animal laws until like 1950, 1960, something like that. It's fairly recent.
Yeah, but no, that's literally the only reason why sheepshagger is a thing, because it's like the Welsh were known for stealing sheep, and it was actually a lesser crime to have stolen sheep to fuck them instead of...
That's fucking hilarious. But
that's like the difference. That's like the difference in Norway. If you steal if you're hungry, you get a harsher punishment if you just steal because you want to steal.
okay, well, the reason I brought it up is I'm Welsh and I've had to deal with a lot of sheepshagger jokes throughout my life. But one of the best jokes I've ever heard was by oh fuck! Why have I forgotten his bloody name right now?
See, it's not that easy, is it?
He hosts 8 out of 10 Cats Does Countdown.
Oh,
know,
Jimmy Carr.
Yeah, Jimmy Carr. Thank you. Jimmy Carr made the joke. An owler is someone that illegally transports sheep. Is the name for someone that illegally transports sheep, unless you're in Wales, in which case you're called a sex trafficker. That is a fucking brilliant joke. It's the best Welsh joke I've ever heard, and I still now it makes me laugh because it's genuinely funny, and it's about something that I take a lot of pride in being Welsh, and I have no issues with that joke being made.
So while I was gone, how do we change this conversation from Warhammer to like Welsh being Welsh sheep?
Okay, we were talking. I brought up like Henry Cavill being a 40k fan, and what happened when he was on the Graham Norton show.
Oh no! Like then Tom Holland, like I want to play. Can I play? That was the best thing I'd seen. Like Tom Holland, like, can I come around yours and see your fucking army? I want to.
Have you seen there was another interview where, for The Witcher, where Henry brings it up. Like he's a 40k fan.
One of the lamps looks like a Blackstone fortress.
Yeah, and Haskell then, or the actor that plays Haskell then says, "Oh yeah, I play 40k too. I play Necrons," and Henry in that moment just goes, "Oh like, yeah, yes. Do you want to?" Yeah, and just nods, and they're just like, yeah, sure, yeah, and you can tell in that moment the pair of them are agreeing to play 40k together, and like without actually saying it.
Was those two just like they're having their own little private conversation, and just the rest of the class are going, "What the fuck is going on?"
No, if you watch the one that plays Siri, she's just like, "Oh, for God's sake!" Like she's heard it so many times, so she's sick of hearing it. It's brilliant. Henry Cavill is the nerd that we all aspire to be.
I have to agree with that.
But back on subject
But I'll never be that sexy.
Oh, I disagree, Blue. I disagree.
Alright, you two can stop, right?
Am I just hearing right now?
Don't worry, go back to sleep, fish. But going back to 40k.
I'm starting to get a little drunk here, so.
Okay.
One beer, fish.
Where's that Polish fortitude you told us about?
Or
Oh,
what?
he's gearing up for war. That's what he's doing.
You've had one beer and you're getting drunk already. Like, dude, what the hell? You're
Weak.
Polish.
Fucking weakling.
It's a strong beer. It's made from the mother of Poland. What is it?
Hey, potion crafter, I need your strongest beer.
Potion cup. I need it now.
Actually, bringing up strong alcohol, I've read a 40k novel. Well, I listened to the audio
You
book.
have you?
Yeah. For Lucas.
Wow,
it was...
the Welshman reads a book.
Yeah, I know, go figure. About Lucas the Trickster. You know, the Space Wolf special character.
Space Wolf, who gets drunk every 2 seconds.
Well, he's been exiled for pulling a prank on a Wolf Lord with some of his blood claws. And he goes just to this abandoned shack and sits down and starts pouring this meod out of a barrel. It's clear that he's set this place up because of how many times he's been exiled. And one of the blood claws drinks it and then immediately coughs it up because Lucas had refined it out of promethium.
Ooh.
Like, and for those of you that don't know, promethium is the same stuff that's used in 40k for their flame weaponry.
It's the stuff in real life that's used as flame weapon because promethium is a real thing.
And yeah, he's just made alcohol out of it, and it's just like, yeah.
I mean, I just saw like while I was like half sleeping the other day, I saw a video of a chemist making like alcohol out of toilet paper. So, I'm not surprised anymore.
What the fuck is on Norwegian YouTube? Like,
No, he's American.
do you know what? That's even better. An American making alcohol out of toilet paper.
Yeah, he's a chemist. He's doing it the chemical way. It's awesome.
Yeah. That's why he's doing it. It's because he's a chemist.
Oh, because he's American. What part of America was he from?
I mean, he also made cyanide and then put it into a chamber and smelt it. But you know what? Whatever makes you happy, right?
Somebody says cyanide.
Chemist, fucking hell. But
Dangerous
Nom, nom,
people.
nom.
okay, this is going to be a slightly different question from what you might have been asked before. But what is your favourite unit in 40k? So, for example, we'll dial it down to the troop types. So, what's your favourite HQ?
Robot, Rise, come on.
What's your favourite I can't help it. It's my fucking internet.
I'm gonna keep telling you.
What's your favourite HQ? What's your favourite elite? What's your favourite troop? Fast attack and heavy support.
That's a good one actually.
And they don't have to be from the same army.
I don't have an answer for most of this because I don't really pick favorites. I don't play games like that.
Okay.
I choose the army and then I like all of it, right?
Yeah, fair enough. No, I can understand that.
But my favorite, like, even though I don't play them, like any of the dreadnoughts are like the coolest things in the world, in my opinion.
Brother.
Actually, speaking of dreadnoughts, see, I have a lot of characters that I could say have the title of favourite, but I just like so many. And one of them is a Night Lord's dreadnought.
It's really hard to pick. Man.
Yeah, it is. Called Malkarion. And is in the Night Lord's trilogy. And in the first book, they're trying to wake him. And they get attacked by a member of their legion whilst they're doing it. Whilst they're trying to wake him. And then all of a sudden, this geezer who's attacking them just gets shredded apart by autocannon fire. And they turn around and this dreadnought is up and the barrels are smoking. And all he says is, I heard bolter fire. And that's it. Like, that's what woke him up. He heard the bolter fire and then just obliterated this guy.
I heard bolter fire? What can I do for it?
That's a bit like squirrel.
But
So that's squirrel. Like from
okay, so
that's brilliant.
yeah.
Yep.
So blue doesn't have any favourites, which is fair enough. What about you, Draz?
Oh my god, that's a difficult one because I could
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, go on for a while then.
Yeah, go on for a while. That's the whole point.
This is the place.
If I wanted to go favorite HQ choice, I could break it down by actual like faction. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah,
Imperial,
of course.
Or this, or that, or something like that.
Or what about if I was to divide it is not just HQ, but special character and then HQ? Is that better?
Special what?
Special character. So say like Commander Dante. Because even then, that makes it hard for me.
I say model,
My,
but
my boy Horace.
in terms of special character, you can actually have as a model Asmodai from the Dark Angels.
Oh, do you know what? I can understand that. Because Asmodai is fucking badass.
I just love that in the Space Marines.
Is this love?
No, the Space Marines. Space Marines are meant to be immune from mental disorders, and there's just one guy in the Dark Angels that is very clearly schizophrenic.
That's why you like him, because he's schizophrenic.
It's just this man that he's so crazy. The Grandmaster of the Dark Angels had to several times stop him from doing something. He's like, no. Also, I
want to
him more because of the Albafusa thing, which you might have seen.
Yes.
He has a suspicious book. Make him repent. Ripper.
So we'll get on to text-to-speech at some point, I swear to God, because I could do an entire podcast on just how that is the greatest fan-made thing ever made. Alright, so Asmodai for special characters, or just HQ in general. Yeah, I can understand that. I can completely understand that.
It's Asmodai for special character.
Yeah.
Like, he's been turned down from being head chaplain for so long because he's just that crazy.
He's too batshit insane for the Dark Angels.
Like, he's too batshit insane for even the most batshit insane chapter to deal with. It's like, okay, no. Like, just throw him at the biggest and ugliest thing and see what happens.
Yeah, hope for the best. Good luck, dude. We're rooting for you.
It's brilliant. If we're going away from special character,
Yep.
and we went into, I don't know, general like troop choices.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm a Space Marine player, I'm an Imperial Knight player, but I'm sorry. Once again, going off the lore of why I like them so much, just has to be your bog standard, poor fucking bastard Imperial Guard.
Yeah.
Imperial Guard is good.
Are you just trying to honor them because of all the things they go through?
Mate,
It is, though. It is.
I've killed a fucking Bloodthirster with a squad of Imperial Guardsmen. Don't even.
Imperial Guardsmen are the absolute living chads of the 40k universe.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
I think what they're called is the best joke I've heard about is they are lasgun mounted balls of steel.
It's easy to be brave when you're a superhuman warrior with ancient warplate on and, you know, a rocket-powered grenade launching death machine in your hands. But it's harder to stay, you know, composed and brave when you're, you know, you got effectively a laser pen compared to what you're fighting against, and you're wearing armor that would be useful for a local riot.
A lot of people forget that in Warhammer, humanity's main army is not a Space Marine; it is an Imperial Guard.
No. Think of the Space Marines as like Spetsnaz.
No, but the thing is, people forget that.
Yeah.
And even then, Space Marines aren't still special forces. The Imperial Guard have their own special forces.
Yeah. But you know what I mean. I was just trying to split it up a bit.
Yeah.
But
at the end of the day, the only reason they are so brave and do what they do is because of their reverence of the Space Marines.
No, I wouldn't agree with that.
And of the Emperor, of course, obviously. Yeah. Come on.
I mean,
and because they're almost indoctrinated.
Some of the Imperial Guard stories you get out of them are just amazing. When you read the books that are not Space Marines, not this, they're just Imperial Guardsmen being Imperial Guardsmen.
Gaunt's Ghost, for example.
One of my favourites was a short story called Steel Demon about a tank crew. On a tank crew on Cadia during the fall of Cadia.
Oh yeah.
And it was just normal guardsmen, how they live and work and how they fight. Irregardless of there's no Space Marines around, it's just humans.
But yeah, no, I can completely get.
And you see the true human side of the Imperial War Machine.
Yeah, no, I agree.
No, I can get behind that. I can
Yeah.
get behind that. What do you think, Fish?
Yeah, he is here.
I mean, okay, what is it now? Elites, I think?
Yeah, elites. Go for elites. Go for it.
Oh, it's going to be a fun one. Hold on. I have to look them up now because I can't remember their name. I'm struggling very hard just not go say just custodians pen down. I'm pretty sure. Hold on a sec. I can't remember if they're elites anymore. Let's have a look. Are they still
called
elites?
Battle Sisters?
Sisters of Battle.
The Sisters of Battle. I'm trying
Sisters
to
of
remember.
Battle, yeah.
Where are the elites?
Or the
actually.
other name for them is the Adeptus or the Adeptus Sororitas.
I'm pretty sure.
Adeptus Sororitas.
I'm
You're
pretty sure
absolutely
it's
right.
the Repentitus squads. Actually, no, scratch
Repentia. Yeah.
Adeptus Mechanicus, the Cataphrans.
Ah, you see, I can't stand the AdMech. Like the look of the models.
I have had a thing for the AdMech since they first came out. I just love them.
I can understand why. It's just not my cup of tea personally. I like the Skitarii warriors, but otherwise, the rest of their model line is not. I'm not a fan of.
First proper army I collected after first getting into the hobby, because of course I went down Space Marines.
Yeah, of course.
I had a Space Marine army, but when I actually first moved on from something, it wasn't just getting the starter kit and moving on. It was AdMech.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to play a cool thing, and I was like, I don't want to play Guard because Guard. I got into Guard quite late, so I didn't want to play Guard because Guard were finicky. Honestly, God, I didn't like them and that kind of thing. And it's just like, by the way, AdMech released, and I just immediately fell in love with them.
Yeah.
That and Imperial Knights at the same time. But Imperial Knights, when I was at the age I was when they were released, I was like 16. I didn't have the money. AdMech was more of an accessible army for me. I was like, yes, I want them. The Marzi voice. I must have them.
Yeah, I can understand that. I love the AdMech's lore, and I especially love the look of their ships just like in Battlefield Gothic and everything like that. But I don't like their army line. That's less to do with the look itself and more Games Workshop's affinity.
I'm glad they finally started to fix that mess of an army line. I mean, as I think I said it earlier, I like to customize and homebrew.
Yeah. I still maintain that they should be able to take every single tank in the Imperium's army list.
I mean, no, unfortunately, because that doesn't always work.
Yeah, but the reason I maintain that is because they make pretty much all of them anyway.
Yeah, but not every Forge World makes everything.
No, true. All right, and that's where that comes down to individual players sticking to the lore itself.
One of my favourites is learning about world designations inside of Warhammer, like a Forge World or an Industrial World or this world or that world.
Yeah, and the differences between them all. Yeah, I get that.
When I was doing my homebrew world system, which I'm still doing, I read so deep into the different classifications of worlds. It's like, oh my god, this is some well-written stuff.
Yeah. No, I can understand why somebody would like the AdMech line, but I personally, it's not my thing from a personal level. But
yeah, that's fair enough. Everyone has their Not everyone likes.
I feel like it's too steampunky for my tastes, and I like steampunk, but I've never thought of steampunk when I thought of the AdMech. So, but that's just me. Do you have fast attack and heavy support? I mean, heavy support's probably going to be
heavy support.
Tank.
That's a good one. Heavy support. The Gladius Dreadnoughts and the Dax Mechanicus. And not the Depths Custodies. The proper Contemptor Dreadnoughts that waltz around with a fucking sword and shield.
Yep.
Because why not?
Why just have big fists to punch people with when I take?
Why just have big fists?
Big
I
sword.
can have sword and fast attack. This is gonna be really old, but it's back in the Imperial Guard again. But I have a very old unit I inherited.
Yeah.
Of Death Corps of Kree Death Riders.
Oh wow, yeah, no, that's going back.
I
I'm
also
not.
have a unit of mammals. You know, the Talon ones, those fucking
Yeah.
desert horses. I have a unit of them.
Oh wow.
Those odd aliens.
Oh god, that's going back, son. Jesus.
And they are my favourite fast set because it's just horses. It's like 40 in Grimdark is the 41st millennium. We still have biological cavalry.
Yeah. You have tank. We have cavalry. Yeah, we have horse. Okay.
This man has a horse and he's proud of it. I'm like, oh my god, yes.
Okay. Me myself, if I was to pick a favourite special character, it's a hard call for me. Is it alright if I list two? One for Horus Heresy and one for 40k itself?
Go ahead, I don't mind.
Okay. For Horus Heresy, my favourite character, and probably my favourite character overall in the lore ever, is Jago Sevatarion. Jago Sevatarion. First captain of the Night Lords and the biggest cunt in the the Warhammer mythos. He's such a prick.
Yeah, but he's also good. He's also a funny prick.
Yeah, and he's also somehow still a good guy in a very weird way. Yeah, he does horrible things, but he's still a good, or as good as you can be in 40k. There are no good guys in 40k. And I've just always loved his character in general, especially when he was first ever mentioned in the Night Lords trilogy, and he's just like this legendary figure in the past, and you're not given any real clue of what he's like. And then in the Horus Heresy,
figure that's also simultaneously beloved and hated because of what he did to the Legion.
And then you read the Horus Heresy novels and you're like, yep, no, I completely get why they spoke of him in that way. I completely get why it was almost like this awed tone whenever they spoke of Sevatar. Yeah, no, he is simultaneously a dick and also the best leader the 8th Legion ever had. If it's standard 40k, like set in the 41st millennium, my favourite character is gonna have to be Dante. I love Dante.
Yeah, Dante.
I love him in Devastation of Baal. I love him in the novel that he got focused on his origin, which is just called Dante. That is one of the best novels I've ever read.
He's one of those characters you really cannot help but feel sorry for, and he humanizes
the Space Marines in a way that nobody else has ever really been able to achieve.
Yeah, he's one of those. He's one of the characters that they use to humanize Space Marines, and I love it.
Yeah, he's such a well written character, and he's easily likable as well, which is rare for a lot of Space Marines. And I don't mean easily likable where it's like with Sevatar, where you like him because he's funny or he's enjoyable to read and he's funny to read. You like Dante because he is genuinely a good man that is just so tired of fighting. So,
for those of you in this chat that don't understand who Dante is, he is the oldest living Space Marine outside of a Dreadnought suit. There are plenty of Space Marines way older than Commander Dante inside of Dreadnoughts. But he is the oldest living Space Marine who is still outside of a Dreadnought suit at about, I think, just over 1,000 years old.
Actually, in Devastation of Baal, he's placed at 1,500.
Yeah, so he's over 1,000 years old.
Yeah. And, I mean, the Dante book, which covers his background, starts with him beginning his journey to Angel's Fall to become a Space Marine as a 12-year-old lad, like going to become a Space Marine. And culminates in like flipping back and forth from his time as chapter master and heading back to Baal for where Devastation of Baal would take place, and like his past. And the book ends in his past with him getting his captaincy, not becoming a chapter master, but him becoming a captain. And we finally found out what company he was a captain of, and he was the 5th Company captain of the Blood Angels, the Demon Bane. And
that suits him perfectly in my personal opinion, but still,
he's such an easily likable character. He's well written, and Games Workshop need to do a new fucking model for him. I don't care if he's not going to be a Primaris. Make a new pissing model. He deserves it.
He has to be. But yeah, Dante is he's 1,000 years old, and the man is tired. because he has been a warrior for almost.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is he's Warhammer's John Wick.
Oh no,
Yeah.
there are other John Wicks, but
Yeah, I'd say the easiest way to describe him is, I mean, when they describe how he looks like an old man. Compared to other Space Marines who look old, he literally looks like, you know, when you get a very, very old man, and you know, like their skin on their face, it starts to sag and everything like that. He has white thinning hair, and he very rarely takes off the mask of Sanguinius because of just how old he looks otherwise, and it can break people's view of him. So he takes on the persona of Sanguinius in a way to be the inspiration for people, but he's just a very, very tired soul. Devastation of Baal ends with him seeing Sanguinius. And Sanguinius, like in this vision, says to him, "I'm sorry, but you can't come and join me at my side yet. You're still needed." And like Dante's crying out, "Please, my lord, I'm too tired. Please let me just rest and just be by your side." And he's like almost in tears.
my predictions, we end up with Dreadnought Dante.
That would be even sadder, in my opinion.
Yep, that would be really sad.
That would be even sadder, because if anyone has earned the right to die, to finally die, and get the rest that he so sorely needs out of the entire Imperium, it's Dante. And the beautiful thing in Devastation of Baal, when Rabute shows up, Rabute talks to Dante and he says, "I know you're tired. I know that no soul in the Imperium has earned the right to rest as much as you, but I still need you. I need you to keep the Imperium Nihilus safe whilst I go back to Imperium. Whilst I go back to the Imperium proper, I need you here." And it's sad. It's really sad, because even Rabute doesn't want to have to ask him to do this, but he needs him to do this. And people are like, "Oh, your silly little miniature game that, you know, you paint these toy soldiers and play with them." And you have novels like this that have a lot of feeling, a lot of emotion in them. Where
It's like looking at some of the custodians as well, because the custodians are even older than him.
Yeah.
But they're very different than him.
Yeah. And that's why I love Dante. He's so well written in any media he's been portrayed in. And that's I love that. Moving on though, because we've gone on, I've fanboyed about Dante a bit too long.
No, it's perfectly reasonable to fanboy about what is essentially one of the best written characters.
Yeah.
Space Marine characters, because it's like, for example, people say, "Oh, he's not that old." Looking at custodians who can easily live to 3,000 and be like, "Yeah, fine." But it comes down to the fact that Space Marines aren't meant for anything else but fighting.
Yeah. And to live as long as he has is unbelievably rare.
It's why I come down to the point of, I imagine Dante in a Dreadnought. I feel like the next iteration of Dante is either going to be Primaris Dante, or it's going to be him in a Dreadnought going crazy.
Yeah. And that would be even sadder.
Like, I could generally see them putting Dante in a Dreadnought.
Especially if he's
just going insane.
I mean, can you just imagine him succumbing to the Black Rage?
I want to see it, if that makes sense.
Just imagine him succumbing to the Black Rage. And I don't think they'd have him succumb to the Black Rage, but if he would, that would be, I would be very, very upset with that. And for those of you,
I kind of feel like he wouldn't succumb to the Black Rage. He would just go generally crazy.
Yeah. Or just be affected. I think that his depression, because he is depressed, it's even referenced, would affect him a lot more. But
it's the whole thing of it's coming down to the point again that Space Marines are still at biological level. They might not be human anymore, but they are still
susceptible.
Well, at the very.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry, come on. They are not human biologically anymore, but at the very level of, like, emotionally, they are still human. Not much of them is left, but they are still humans.
Yeah. moving from like the less depressing subject and quite a tragic character in 40k.
That's the entirety of 40k.
Yeah. Just when you think things are getting
Have you
better.
heard the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
To my favourite troops choice. This is this is going to sound so basic, but this doesn't just come from a lore. It comes from a lore perspective, but also from a gameplay perspective for me, because I spent a lot of time playing, and my favourite time, like my greatest memories of 40k, was when I was playing 5th edition with my mates, like 10 or so years ago. And although my first army was Guards, the first army that I started to actually truly love the hobby was Space Marines, and that is the Space Marine Tactical Squad. It's
yes, the original old boys.
Yeah. But that's because I've always found them incredibly flexible on the field to use. The ability to have, the heavy weapon and the special weapon with them and everything like that. And I like the old organisation that you got with the companies, with the tactical squads and everything like that. That's always been quite
like 6 tacticals, 2 of these, and 2
yeah,
of
these. 6 tacticals, 2 assaults, 2 devastators, with the exception of the reserve companies, which you get 2 tactical reserves, 1 assault reserve, and 1 devastator reserve. And I know way too much about this for my own good. But
yeah, no, that's the same. I used to go into it far too much when I was younger as well.
And I've always loved that. So for me, the tactical squad is my favourite troops choice, hands down, because it just, whenever I've used them, I've never had a tactical squad perform badly. Every other army, I've had a troops choice that hasn't done much or hasn't ever achieved much in a game, but I've never had a tactical squad fail me on the field.
Be right back. I need to go take a leak.
Yep, go for it.
It's like I've had tactical squads I loved tactical squads when I was younger. Once again, not my absolute favourite troops choice, but they are.
For me, it's purely the flexibility that I found with them on the field. And when I'm playing games, it's given me more options than I found with a lot of other troops choices that I've used with other armies. Like I
kind of feel like they are that kind of like odd.
They are the perfect Space Marine unit in my mind. They're the perfect Space Marine unit because they can theoretically achieve anything.
They were, and in fact, some people still are the most iconic Space Marine unit.
Oh yeah, hands down. Hands fucking down.
They were always in art. They were always in this. They were always in that. They were always just there. You couldn't. Even some random person who's new to the hobby would always know that's a Space Marine.
Yeah. And for me, they're more iconic than Primaris, and I feel.
Well, yeah, they always have been. They probably always will be. Because Primaris, yeah, sure, they're fancy and they're iconic and all that kind of crap, but Primaris are Primaris.
And to put it bluntly, I will always take a full 10-man squad of tactical marines. I have never taken a 10-man squad of intercessors, like the Primaris.
Am I just odd then? Yeah.
I've never felt the need to.
Several times.
I've felt that a 5-man squad of intercessors can give me exactly the same job as the tactical marines, but without the added benefit of having a heavy bolter, a missile launcher, or a melter gun in it. So as far as I'm concerned, I'd quite happily take tactical marines over intercessors any day. Obviously, the army I'm taking Primaris and Firstborn, so a mix of the two. And the Lamenters, so they're going to have less Firstborn than Primaris, obviously, because it's the fucking Lamenters. But I personally, that's my favourite troops choice. I just think they're so neat. That's the easiest way to explain them. It's that meme, that potato meme with Marge. I just think they're neat. And that's why. Favourite elite choice is much more of the same. Stoneguard veterans. I just really like Stoneguard. I don't know if you guys have ever used them or seen them. Don't think Stoneguard are really a thing for Dark Angels, are they?
What were anything for Dark Angels?
Stern Guard veterans.
No, they did not get them.
No.
They had something else.
Yeah. Well,
They
your
had
first
something
company is all just the Deathwing Terminators, isn't it? It's only recently that you got extra shit for the Deathwing.
They had the Deathwing Terminators and the Deathwing Knights. Oh my god, the Deathwing Knights!
And now you've got
one of my favourite elite choices. I'm sorry.
And now you've got Deathwing Blade Guard, haven't you?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
one of my favourite elite choices in the old 40k pre-Primaris would have been Deathwing Knights because they were just so good.
Can you imagine if the Emperor wakes up and he makes his own fucking Space Marine army?
He did. It's called the fucking Grey Knights.
It's called that's called the Custodians actually. The Grey Knights, just like the rest of it.
But what if he did it again?
Pretty sure the Grey Knights were the creation of Mount Malkador anyway.
Yeah, but the Gene Seed was direct from the Emperor. That has been confirmed to be canon.
Wasn't that just from everyone?
No. Unlike the others, the Primarch of the Grey Knights is the Emperor. That's the difference. Their Primarch was the Emperor himself, whereas for the others, it was obviously the Primarchs. So Stern Guard I've always liked. Much the same reason for the Tactical Marines. Stern Guard have the options to obviously take any weapon they like, range-wise. But if they took bolt guns, they got the special ammunition rule, where they could change whatever ammunition they wanted and it'd have different effects. So they could have like ignores cover rounds, rounds that were AP3, rounds that were AP4 and had longer range, and rounds that were poison on a 2+. Like they had a lot of options, and I always liked that about them. And to be honest, I'm tempted to take some Stern Guard with my Lamenters, get my hands on some. I also just love the look of the models. The models look so cool. Favourite fast attack? Technically, it used to be a fast attack. I don't know if it still is now, but it used to be at one point.
What would that be?
The Baal Predator.
Technically still fast attack.
Yep. The Baal Predator is fucking awesome. Technically a special unit for the Blood Angels. Having the option of a twin-linked assault cannon or a flamestorm cannon. Both are, in my opinion, very, very good options to take. Although I know the assault cannon is a better option nowadays in the current meta. I still like the flamestorm. And it used to have a fast profile, but now it's slightly changed. But yeah, I've always liked the Baal Predator. Heavy support. It's got to be the Russ. It's got to be the Lehman Russ. The Lehman Russ battle tank. Like, fucking, when I think of guard, I think of that fucking battle tank. Las cannon on the front, heavy bolters on the sides, and just booming and taking out squads of Space Marines. Such a glorious tank design and so good on the field, especially when I was playing back in the day. And I'm going to choose, and I'm going to say my favourite super heavy, because I forgot about this, but my favourite super heavy is the Shadow Sword. Purely because I want to get one to kill my best mate's Stomper, and both me and him know that me buying a single model just so he can field his Stomper, and it being what it is massive overkill for the fucking Stomper. Oh, I've used this volcano cannon to kill your Stomper. What should I shoot at now? I know. Your war boss. Let's see how the luck of the Orcs holds out against a volcano cannon, shall we?
Yes, volcano cannons.
So yeah, that's why I love the Shadow Sword. It's just overkill. It's a metaphor for the Imperium. Massive overkill on a single tank. So yeah. But
I mean, come on. I mean, I own a Titan, so we're not going to go into that.
Okay, keeping on the subject of our favourites, who is everyone's favourite Primarch? Horus, okay.
Oh my god, don't make me pick.
Okay, let's go back.
Fine,
Jazz,
fine.
I'll give you a chance to think. Blue, I want to know why
Lionel Johnson,
Horus. Why
Huh?
Horus?
What? Why Horus?
Yeah.
Because Horus did nothing wrong.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, yeah, go on, Draz.
It's a close between. It's a very, very close between three, and that's Lion, Lion, Vulcan, and unsurprisingly Magnus.
Really?
No, I actually do have a real reason though.
Oh, okay, you have a real reason. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second, Draz.
If I had to pick my absolute top, it would be the Lion.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I do love a lot of them.
Okay, Blue, what is your actual reason for Horus being your favourite?
So my reason for that is because I see myself a lot in Horus. He's very easily swayed to either side, and so am I.
Yeah, he's also egomaniacal. Yeah.
Yep. So
Yeah.
am I.
We found blue. We found blue, ladies and gentlemen.
And when he makes his convictions and starts doing something, he does it 100%. He doesn't compromise. He doesn't, change his mind later down the line. He just goes for it, right? He makes up his mind and then he goes for it.
Also,
I
another
respect that.
thing in regards to you relating to Horus, at least in Horus Rising, there are moments when he personally doubts himself and how he can do this, and almost like the pressure of dealing with it on his own. Horus is a very well written character in the Horus Heresy novels. If you ever get a chance to read Horus Rising, you definitely should, if you haven't already. It's a bloody good book.
I agreed.
Okay, Draz, why is Lion, if you was to pick from those three, why would Lion be your pick?
Lionel Johnson, my favourite. I just like the whole story that he is the one Chaos wanted and couldn't get. That, when I read into that and found out about it, I think, yes.
This is someone I can respect.
Yeah.
The one that Chaos wanted to corrupt instead of Horus, but they had to go with Horus instead because Lionel Johnson was just like, yeah, fuck off.
Well, another thing to note with the Lions, you've probably read the short story, but there is a short story where at the end, it's almost like he's talking to himself, but he's talking so quietly that no one else can hear him. And he references, I know what's happening on Callahan. We can't deal with that right now. So it's kind of hinted that he's talking to the Watchers in the Dark.
I love the Watchers in the Dark.
And it's heavily hinted that he's talking to them. But it's never openly spoken. And I've always had this impression that the Lion always knew. Well, he kept so many secrets from everyone. He always knew more than he was letting on. Always. And although he's not my personal favourite, I actually, and this is going to be any 40k fan that hears this that doesn't agree isn't going to like this. I think Lion was the best of the Primarchs.
I understand and agree. Because he was the tactical genius. He was the overall...
gruntingly agree.
Yes.
Like, was he a flawed human being? Yes.
Every Primarch was flawed in a special way.
Everyone's flawed though, so that's not.
But was he right in his convictions, and overall did he do the right thing? Yes. Did he have the strength of will to say no to chaos?
Because he is what I like to call the ultimate, like, jack of all trades.
Yeah.
The Lion was better than... The Lion was not better than any of the Primarchs that one singular thing. But in a battle of straight wit would hand each Primarch their arses.
Yeah. And even most of them, he'd beat them in close combat. He did Comrade Kurz twice.
For you.
I mean, he kicked Conrad's ass.
Yep. He slit his throat open.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, Rise.
Yeah, go ahead.
And this is since you've been asking all these insanely hard questions to us, I'm gonna do the same thing to you.
Yep.
If you had to choose, what is your favorite Xenos, all of that you've just asked us?
What is my favourite Xenos like troop choice and everything and special character?
Yep.
Okay. Favourite Xenos special character is I'm probably gonna have to go with Eldrad Ulfran.
Why?
Multiple reasons. One, Eldrad tends to be at the centre, if not the centre, a part of pretty much every important event that happens, not just to the Imperium of Man, but to the 41st Millennium universe as a whole. He's a part of. He's also someone that cares deeply for his people, first and foremost, but also registers the fact that chaos is not just a threat to him, but it's a threat to all. And although he'll put his people first, as he should, he is more than willing to align himself with the Imperium for the greater good. The greater good.
That's a really good explanation.
So
of why you
that's
do that.
why that's why Eldrad is my favourite special character.
My favourite
Xenos-wise.
Xenos special character. That's a difficult one because I have quite a few. Frozen the Infinite.
Why?
Oh God! I wish. Do you know what? I completely get why. I completely forgot about Trazin. He's such a cunt. Trazin is also brilliantly well written. One of the best written characters that Games Workshop have come out in the last 10 years.
I collect stuff.
His response to, or his letter to Inquisitor Valeria, when she sent those guard units to attack him, where he's just like, "Thank you for your new addition, for your gift of 3 full regiments of such and such. It gives me a chance to fully kit out one of his parts of his museum with a chance for spares for any damages that are done in the future. I only wish that you had told them about your intentions, though, as they did cause some problems within the museum by resisting me." It's just a brilliantly worded
There
letter.
is a story somewhere of one of the custodies. Tarzan only has 1 custodies in his collection. And there's a story somewhere of how much of an absolute pain that custodian was.
But he's so nonchalant about it. Battlefield Gothic Armada 2. He's in Battlefield Gothic Armada 2 as well. And he appears before Belisarius Call.
I just loved it.
And Call goes,
That
"You
was
are an
Tarzan.
abomination." And Trazin just goes,
Tarzan, it was someone else.
"I prefer..." No, that is Trazin.
Was it
Yeah, it is Trazin. Because his response is just, "I prefer the term honoured guest." And it's just... He's such a dick. And he doesn't give a fuck. Because he'll mess with the other Necron Lords as well. And he can't die. So yeah, no, I can completely get behind you liking Trazin because he's just so well written. Favorite Xenos troops choice: Cable-Light Warriors for the Dark Elder. Because there's nothing funnier than playing a Tyranid player and them going their toughness 8 and me still responding, I will be still wounded on a 4+.
Because cable lights are just disgusting.
But purely because it's funny to mess with Tyranid players.
Favorite Xenos troop choice? Orc boys, because orc boys.
boys.
What would you say the strongest entity in the entirety of Warhammer 40k is?
The Emperor of fucking mankind.
No.
He has collectively handed all 4 gods of chaos their asses, the Void Dragon its ass, the Deceiver its ass.
I disagree, but for a different reason. I'll let you finish, Straz, but I have an
In
opinion.
terms of strongest, martial, he has handed several gods their asses. Several times.
Okay.
That's about it.
Yeah.
That's literally about it. If you wanted strongest in terms of martial prowess, this man This man beat the shit out of the Void Dragon and shoved it in Mars and went, fuck you.
Okay, in my opinion, the strongest entity in the 41st millennium is Zinch.
Yeah, you could say that about any of the Chaos Gods, couldn't you? You could say that about Korn.
No, I maintain that Zinch is stronger than the other Chaos Gods. They just don't realise it. Zinch in 40k is the god of change. First and foremost.
And by that logic, you could also... The problem is, we're trying to compare the strength of the Chaos Gods is like, technically Slash beats everything, but then technically Korn beats everything. And technically Nurgle beats everything, because Nurgle's also the god of change.
But then technically, just a big group of orcs beats everything.
Yeah,
No, the reason I maintain Zinch is the strongest is because Zinch is not just a god of change, but he is the great deceiver, the liar, the schemer. Everything is working to one of Zinch's plans. So even when he is losing, it's still working to his plan in the long run of things.
Apart from when it doesn't, and it's like, okay, fuck.
No, but even then, he's got another plan. He's got so many plans. If he was to cease scheming, not just on himself, but just in general, he would cease to exist. That is the very essence of Zinch. Even when the Thousand Sons lose, even when his cults are discovered and found and destroyed by the Inquisition, it is still working within the schemes of Zinch. Because Zinch is an idea, a belief, a concept of scheming itself. And as the Inquisitors wipe out a group of Zinchian cultists, that is scheming in and of itself. So it is working to the great plan of Zinch. That's why I personally believe Zinch is the strongest in Warhammer 40k.
I like that. I can actually get behind that.
Yeah,
That's
really stretching it to the whole idea in 40k of the Chaos Gods not being gods in the truest sense, but being singular concepts made by mortal minds that truly can't comprehend them. It's working on that very singular basis, and it is nuts and stupid, but that's what I believe. However, it's one of those things where you, like Draz said, you could argue it for all of the Chaos Gods. You could argue it for the Emperor.
It's a really hard question to
yeah,
answer.
But it comes down, honestly, something like that comes down to personal opinion. And anyone that's listening to this that, like later or right now or whenever, that has their own ideas around it, stick it down into the comments. I'd be happy to read them because I'd love to hear other people's opinions on this, because it is one of those. There is no right answer. It's not something that you can easily just turn around and say, this is who's strongest. This is the best army. This is who. I mean, is it the hardest question to answer? In my opinion, 40k in general is when you're describing it to a friend or a loved one or anything like that, and they go, "So who's the good guys?" That's the hardest question in 40k. Who is the?
We don't do that here.
Yeah,
I mean,
we don't do that here.
if you're going by who the nicest are, the Salamanders, or maybe the Tau, if you really want to
Tau are
bend it a
not
bit.
nice. The nicest faction in 40k, in my opinion, are the fucking Salamanders.
Yes, that's the closest you get to good guys. In 40k, that is the closest you get to good
Even the
guys.
Salamanders, in their niceties, will torch an entire planet, and they have done on several occasions.
Yeah. I mean, if you're talking about who the most noble, if you define good, who the good guys are by nobility, I'd say the Blood Angels. If you do it by,
You could say the Custodes. You could say the Custodes are the most good guys because they're the most well-rounded, neutral people there.
Or those that are looking for redemption, Dark Angels.
Well, honestly, anyone who's aligned to the Empire is not by definition neutral. So
No,
you're wrong.
but it's
No, the Custodes. They're very they don't get involved.
oh, he means neutral in the terms of politics within the
Which they
Imperium.
see as petty governors.
They won't get involved in the politics of the Imperium itself, despite I'm pretty sure the Legio Custodes putting down plenty of tyrants within the Imperium during their time.
No, for example, the best explanation I have is you look at the what they call High Lords of Terror.
Yeah,
The Captain General has a reserved seat.
and he's never taken it.
No, he has taken it a couple times, but
Oh, right.
he's taken it a couple times. But the thing is, he has a reserved seat.
Just going to say...
He can take a seat, but he only takes it when asked.
Just want to say right now, best Captain General of the Adeptus Custodes is Kitten. Kitten is the best...
Constantine Valdor.
No, Kitten.
Yeah.
Kitten is the best Captain General of the of the Adeptus Custodes. Obviously, that is a joke in reference to text-to-speech, but I don't care. He's the best Captain General. He stops the Emperor from producing warp storms whenever he has a temper tantrum. That makes him the best one. Could Constantine Valdor do that? Could Constantine Valdor defeat Zinch in a game of Yu-Gi-Oh? No, he could not. I've watched that way too many times.
I can tell.
Honestly, God, that was the best episode ever when he beat Zinch with Wind Up Kitten. Anyway, I also play Yu-Gi-Oh, or I used to. I don't as much anymore, but yeah.
That card game anyway.
Pardon?
How is that card game? I hear it's very unbalanced due to the fact.
Oh
that
yeah,
there's
it's
no
gross.
actual deck limits.
Well, there are deck limits, but it's grossly imbalanced because
Wasn't that one guy brought like a deck?
No, that was Magic. Oh wait, no,
No,
that was Yu-Gi-Oh. Yes, and then they put in deck limits.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you can have minimum 40 cards, maximum 60.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Well, in total honesty, if you're playing, you don't want any more than 45. Unless you've got a specific deck for it.
Flick.
Yeah. Like I said, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! For many, many years, and it was mostly out of nostalgia for the old anime that I grew up watching.
I started with Pokemon, and then I moved on to Magic.
I never knew anyone that knew how to play with
and then
Pokemon.
Dropped everything and then went on to Magic, I'm not going to lie.
I've played...
We're like the same person.
Yeah.
I picked up Magic when I was like baby, and then I picked up Pokemon when I was like baby, and then found Magic, dropped out of it for a bit because like life constraints, then went back into it. About recently, actually.
Okay then. So I'm going to close it off with one last subject in regards to 40k that I feel that we haven't really broached upon, but it's in regards to the specialist games for 40k. So the extra games from the universe that they brought out, such as Battlefleet Gothic, Aeronautica, what ones have you played and what ones haven't you played? So, for example, I've played Battlefleet Gothic, Aeronautica Imperialis, and Black Crusade. What about you guys?
Talking about the video games now?
No, this is the specialist games that they brought out, like the other tabletop games.
None of them.
Yeah, I thought you played Battlefleet Gothic. The tabletop
yeah,
game.
the video game. Maybe.
Oh, the video game, right.
Yeah.
Right. So you haven't played any of the specialist games?
Nope.
What about you, Draz?
So what are they all about?
I have played.
Well, I'll go into that in a second for you, Blue.
Yep. Don't worry.
I've played Aeronautica.
Yeah, I know you got Aeronautica because we were supposed to have a game and then never got around to it.
Right, I've played Aeronautica. I've played Adeptus Titanicus. I've
Ooh.
played the original Battlefleet Gothic Armada. Not mine, a friend's. I've played Apocalypse. I've played Kill Team. I've played Necromunda. I've played a lot of them. I've played Blood Bowl, for fuck's sake.
That's not 40k, but I get what you mean. Blood Bowl's fantastic.
Yeah, I played Blood Bowl. I played Blood Bowl. I played... What's that weird one? Blackstone Fortress. One of my favourites.
Oh, right. I haven't played Blackstone Fortress yet. Right. For your sake, Blue, because...
My local Games Workshop runs these kind of things quite often, so I play them.
Yeah, we don't.
I don't really have a Games Workshop over here, unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame. So, Battlefleet Gothic was the tabletop game for space battles in 40k, obviously. Originally, when it came out, it was set principally around the Gothic War, or the Abaddon's 12th Black Crusade. And then they brought up other factions as time went on, such as the Tau and the Dark Elder, that had a whole 2 ships to choose from.
Quite the selection.
Yeah, but they had a 2-up invulnerable save against everything. So and nobody else got that. Apart from the Eldar, but the Eldar were
And there's the
bullshit
Imperium.
anyway.
I hear you like torpedoes.
Yes. Yes.
I have played many games, Battlefleet Gothic Armada, where I have just filled the board with nothing but torpedo tokens. It's like, yeah, enjoy moving.
Yeah. Aeronautica Imperialis is an epic scale, so it's a smaller scale, game which focuses entirely on the aircraft within 40k. So it's all like...
There are many.
Yeah. So, for example, I play Imperial Navy and Imperial Guard.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure. So I've got some Thunderbolts, some bombers, stuff like that painted up. It's a really good game, but they also brought out the Orcs, Tau, Space Marines, so you can get Thunderhawks, like small Thunderhawks to field, and Eldar.
Nice.
Yeah. Very, very fun game. A lot of fun to play. Rules can seem a bit daunting when you first play it, but once you get the hang of it, it's easy. It's so easy, I taught my godson and my 9-year-old daughter how to play it. And although they lost, they gave a good account of themselves, so there is that. But I'm convinced that my daughter was only playing it because she fancies my godson. Black Crusade is Epic Games role-playing game to play as Chaos Space Marines. Well, heretics in general. You can play as a human, but let's face it, you want to play as a Chaos Space Marine. I ran a game of that. A game of Black Crusade set on a Night Lord's warship. It was a lot of fun. And ironically enough, it was the most I've ever had the group that I used to play with work together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, honest to God. We had one player death from another player at the beginning, and then after that, everyone just started working together. It was amazing. Like, when it was clear that player death was a thing, and like they could, and most likely would kill each other, they started working together. It was brilliant. No idea why it took Black Crusade for that to be a thing, but there was very little arguing about what to do in it. It was hilarious. What else? Deathwatch is the loyalist equivalent of Black Crusade, just to let you know. Even the rules carry over. And you can carry over like weapons and everything. It's really, really
That's
well.
kind of nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Because one of my
I like that a lot,
players...
actually.
Well, one of my players in Black Crusade, he was playing a named character from the lore, and that character had a relic blade. Well, relic blades weren't available in the Black Crusade rules, but they were in the Deathwatch rules. And the stats and how they're used just carry over. So I just raided the Deathwatch rules for a relic blade, and there you go, done.
That's nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
so I like it when stuff like that is done. There was a couple of other games produced by Epic that all had cross-compatibility rules-wise and all worked roughly the same way. Rogue Trader was one where you play as a rogue trader and their crew. Inquisitor, I think it was it Inquisitor or was it Retinue? Well, you play as Inquisitor's Retinue. And the other one was There Is Only War, where you played as Imperial Guardsman. So they covered
I would like to interrupt. It's getting quite late for me. It's almost midnight.
Alright then, mate.
So yeah.
Have a good night, and I'll catch you later, Fish.
But despite I haven't been talking in this podcast, it's been fun to listen.
Yeah.
And also cracking a beer.
Well,
See you later, Fish.
you have a good night's sleep, mate, and
Yeah,
catch you soon.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye. So yeah, There Is Only War where you play as Guardsman. So they covered like a broad spectrum of it, and they kept to the lore with it, unlike the new game where you can play as literally whatever you want, which in my mind kind of doesn't make a lot of sense in the realm of 40k lore.
prefer when it's lore constricted
Yeah.
a little bit sometimes.
Like, Rogue
most
Trader-
of the times.
Yeah, Rogue Trader and Retinue you could play as different races, like as different Xenos races. But with that, it made more sense by the very nature of a Rogue Trader and an Inquisitor's Retinue. It made a lot more sense. Because Inquisitors will sometimes have Eldar with them. You will find, like, Tau on a rogue trader vessel and stuff like that. So with that, it made a lot more sense, and I didn't have an issue with. I don't have an issue when stuff like that's done because it's lore friendly still, but I don't like the new tabletop game that they've done at all, and I won't play it. What
Fair
else?
enough, honestly.
Yeah, you also had Inquisitor, which was like a skirmish game back in the day. Kill Team, which is what's the easiest way to describe it? A more cinematic 40k game. Kill Team, much smaller forces. And the units can do. It's a class-based system, so you can have different classes for each model. So you could take a tactical squad, or just like a squad of 5 Marines, give them all different classes, and they're slightly stronger than they would be in 40k, but it's to give like much more of like a close-knit feel, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
actually.
really, I haven't had a chance to play Kill Team yet. I do want to make my own Kill Team, but I haven't got around to it yet. What else have we got? Blackstone Fortress, which is a board game produced by Games Workshop with gorgeous miniatures that obviously you can paint up. It's a 40k version of an existing Age of Sigmar board game, which I'm pretty sure is called Silver Quest or something like that. I don't know enough about it, but it's a essentially, it's a dungeon crawler. It's a tabletop dungeon crawler.
Nice.
If you've ever played Zombicide, for example, then you've got a good idea of what it's like. Very, very fun game to play, but I haven't had the chance to play it yet, unfortunately.
That sucks, though.
Yeah, but it's just.
I'm sure you'll get your chance.
Yeah,
if you want to play
it's just one of those things. They'll probably do it at my local game shop at some point, but I'd rather collect an army than buy a game that I'm probably only going to play a couple of times.
Yeah.
With
I can
models
get behind
that are going to sit on the shelf when they're painted, just getting dusty. That's a personal opinion. Plus, I like how armies look. What else have we got? I'm probably missing a whole bunch. Necromunda is set, funnily enough, on the planet of Necromunda, which is a hive planet, and it is entirely based around the Gan Wars in the Underhive.
Huh.
So there's different Gans that you can collect that are all themed around different things. But you can even get one that's directly supplied by the arbitrators, by the Adeptus Arbites, or the Adeptus Arbites, however you want to pronounce it.
The Adeptus Arbites.
Yeah, I've heard so many people pronounce it so many different ways. I don't even bother trying to get it right anymore. I'm just like,
Yeah,
fuck
no,
it.
but I believe the correct pronunciation
Is Arbites, yeah.
Yeah, Arbites.
And yeah, it's all about that. Like, you get campaigns around it, and everything. Like, if anything, Necromunda it's got a very Blood Bowl feel to it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Where
So it's very novel.
I wouldn't say it's very enough. Like, you're not doing it to like score points or anything like that. Like, campaigns will be focused around trying to claim territory from another Gan, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's very dependent upon the dice rolls.
Yeah, very, very much.
And the dice rolls will frequently fuck you over.
Yeah. Unlike Blood Bowl, where there's like set squares to go on, Necromunda's much more of a skirmish game. Again, haven't really got into it myself because it's one of those. When it comes to the Gans, I don't know who to pick. That's the easiest. That's the main reason I haven't got into Necromunda. I don't know who to pick, because I either don't like the look of them, or I'm not too sure about getting this one. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I get what you mean.
If I was to do one, I'd probably do the Arbites. I'd probably do the ones based off of them because I like I love the Adeptus Arbite. And I think that's all of the games that I can think of. Out of all the specialist games I've ever played, though, my favourite one to this day, and this will never change, and I want Games Workshop to bring this one back more than anything, because I love it so much, and it will finally give me a chance to do a proper campaign. but I want them to bring back Battlefleet Gothic. Like properly. Because when Battlefleet Gothic came out, like if you was to just like eBay the models now, they cost an absolute bomb. Like even worse than Games Workshop prices because they're rare. Because they're out of production. And although some of the models were in plastic, a large proportion were in metal.
They're essentially early day NFTs without the exclusivity.
Yeah. But it was out of all of the 40k games I've ever played, the most fun I've ever had on the tabletop. And bearing in mind, I only ever really played Battlefleet Gothic with my mate Russell. Like, I didn't play with a huge amount of people because when we got into it, it was a dead game. When we started playing Battlefleet Gothic, it had already died. Games Workshop were barely providing, although you can still buy them on the website, they were barely providing models for it. It was really hard to get hands on it. The rules you couldn't buy. You had to download PDFs, and nobody was interested in playing it because they'd rather use their hobby money to buy 40k armies than buy Battlefleet Gothic. That was a big killer for it, unfortunately. But it was the most fun I ever had playing 40k was Battlefleet Gothic because such wacky shit would happen. Like I said, Eldar had a 2-up invulnerable save where they ignored all damage, almost all damage on a 2-up. Otherwise, they didn't have shields. The only stuff they didn't ignore was when a ship exploded near them, or if they went into an asteroid field, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my mate Russ, he had 2 fleets. He had a Space Marine one, and he had an Eldar one. And I'll always remember this. Imperial Navy versus Eldar. He flies towards me. My first shot, I get a lucky hit on his battleship, disabling his shields entirely. So now he doesn't get that 2-up on that battleship. Everything else, he rolls all the 2-ups and I do no damage. Next turn, he gets closer, fires his guns. One shots one of my cruisers, which detonates.
Whoa.
Destroying half his fleet. But also destroying one of my other ships, which also detonates. End of turn 1, all he's got on the board is this battleship with no shields left. Because he'd blown up so many of my ships and they'd all detonated. Completely wiping him out. And I still had my battleship and a few other ships that had been on a flank. And I'm just chasing this Eldar battleship down. And I'm like, do you just want to call it here? And he's like, never, I won't give up. I'm just like, but you don't have anything to protect you now. And he's just like, no, I will not surrender. And yeah, it's like by turn 3 of me chasing this Eldar battleship and just hammering it, like it just died. And yeah, that's how I beat an Eldar fleet in 3 turns by having my own ships blow up. And that for me, that is one of my favourite memories of playing 40k. Hands down.
I like that.
Because it's just.
I don't think I would have felt any different if I had such a game where I beat an entire army in 3 turns.
Yeah, and it was, and the funny thing, but the thing that sold it for me and always made me smile was it wasn't due to my own tactical capabilities. It was purely because he got greedy and kept on firing his guns, and just watching each ship just go pop, 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 and he outnumbered me, and they just all died. And part of me felt bad, but part of me was just like, no, do you know what? He really bigged up, and he deliberately got Eldar to try and fuck with me because I always beat him in Battlefleet Gothic. And he was just like, here, try and match this. And I was just like, nope, this ain't happening. You are dying. And yeah, it was satisfying to beat him through him kicking the crap out of me, for want of a better word. But Aeronautica is also a huge amount of fun to play. Like I said, I loved playing I loved running Black Crusade.
Mm-hmm.
That was also a lot of fun. In fact, so much fun that some of the stories and some of the things that happened in Black Crusade, I actually wrote up and then put on fanfiction.net for posterity. It's just like, yeah, this happened. You know, all these like this game so long ago. Like I had so much fun running it for like my friends and everything that I wanted like a part of it to remain up forever, so that they could look back on it and go, yeah, I remember that happening. I remember that. And like in between games, I like post very, very little short stories in a Facebook group for everyone that was playing the game of stuff that was going on behind the scenes that their characters didn't know. To like, you know, encourage them to look into things more and everything like that. So, but that's Black Crusade's the most fun I've ever had running an RPG, and Battlefield Gothic is the most fun I've ever had playing a tabletop game.
Yeah.
Because I've had.
Sounds like you had a lot of good times, though.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I first started playing 40k, me and my mate Russ, funnily enough, we both played Imperial Guard, and we would very commonly just go. For some reason, we both like playing the Cities of Death expansion that they did, you know, for doing city fights. And we was too poor to afford buildings as well as our models, so we used stacks of 5 DVDs for each building. So like we'd have 5 DVDs stacked on top of each other, and we'd use those as buildings, and then like build like these like streets and everything like that, and fight with our tanks and infantry in these streets. And if a building was destroyed or anything, we'd remove the top 4 DVDs and leave one there to denote it was a destroyed building. And that was a huge amount of fun. Like the time he tank shocked my Demolisher Lehman Russ with his Vanquisher Lehman Russ, and then we spent the next 4 turns shooting each other at point blank and doing fuck all to each other.
That took a bit longer than I wanted to.
That's all right, mate. So all of my happiest memories of 40k, unfortunately, especially playing, are from my early-ish years of playing. I
think that's how it is for a lot of people, though.
Yeah, I don't enjoy modern 40k as much because I've heard from a lot of different people, and I disagree, that modern 40k is simpler. Like 9th edition is simpler. I disagree entirely. I think that there's a lot more to it. It can be a bit overwhelming for new players. It's overwhelming for me, and I've been playing since 5th. Like, there's so much to fucking remember now. You know, like extra rules. You've got fucking command points now. You've got stratagems. You've got this. You got that, and it's just like, no, I feel it's overly complicated compared to what it used to be.
I mean, I both agree and disagree. I like they tried to add tactics to it, but also understand that, yeah, it's a bit...
Yeah, but one of the dumbest things they did was when they removed armor values for tanks, it completely negated any sense of movement awareness for armored vehicles. Like I said, you can drive a Lehman Russ backwards in modern 40k, and it means squat deadly. You can still fire your forward-facing las cannon any way you want, and everything like that. Like I just don't like so many things in modern 40k compared to old 40k. I'll still play it, and I still enjoy the games, but nowhere near as much as I used to. Nowhere near, unfortunately. But I'm not one of those that's going to give people crap for enjoying it themselves, because great, you enjoy it. I'm really glad you enjoy it. It's not as much fun as it used to be for me, unfortunately. But that's from an old man that's been playing since he was 18 and has a lot of happy memories and has fallen in and out of love with the hobby for various reasons over the years. Whether it's the players, Games Workshop, money. Like, I've been in and out of the hobby far too much, and
sorry, Games Workshop is. There are plenty of people that have fallen out of the hobby because of Games Workshop, but also fallen back into it again.
Yeah. What made me come back, to be honest, the reason I came back this time was because I started reading the novels again and I fell back in love with 40k and I was just like, no, this is my favourite universe of all time. Sci-fi, fantasy, whatever you want to classify 40k as, I want to come back. And 5 years ago, I would never have dreamed of even thinking of painting Lamenters. And now I'm doing an army of them. And it's good to be back. It's good to be back into the hobby that I love more than any other hobby.
Yeah,
And
I mean, it's part of the reason I fell back into it. It's like, I want to go back to something I know made me happy and was able to take away a lot of the pain and stress of my early life. So, yeah, 40k.
Yeah. But I think it'd be a good time because we've been on for about 2 hours now. I mentioned a 40k podcast to you two, and we're here for like over 2 hours talking about it.
We could be here for way worse.
Yeah, we could be here for so much longer than this. But I, for one, have definitely enjoyed this. And the worrying thing is if we were to do a podcast next week. What's the topic next week, guys? 40k. Yeah, okay. What are we going to cover this time? Don't know. Just talk about 40k again for 2 hours. But
we easily could, that's the thing.
Yeah, no, we easily could. But yeah, I'm going to end it there for now. So for those of you that did join us and those of you that are watching it later, thank you very, very much for joining us as we just rant and ramble about a universe that all three of us love. I've been Rise Inquisitor. Draz has been the awesome man he is, and Blue has been the love of my life. Oh. Thank you for joining us, and I'll catch you